Hello, how you doing? This is Joshua, and I am with J. Eldon Music. And today I'm going to show you how to connect multiple DAWs using the I/O core audio. There's multiple I/O settings that you can use. It originally started with like the Soundflower, and we're talking about mostly with the Mac. There's different protocols with the Windows that are similar, but we're going to use Ableton and we're going to use Reasons. But just to get started, so you could get an understanding of the tools that are available, you can you can download the Soundflower for free. Now there is an extra setup with that program. There's also loopback audio and the more recent addition, which is included with your Pro Tools download. Considering which one, the version that you download, I think there's different types of I/O settings that come with it. But as far as the Pro Tools Aux I/O, these are the initial tools you're going to need. Because if you are familiar with like the Reasons, where in the past it had like a rewire connection, that no longer applies. So you have to set it up differently. So we're going to show you how to do that today. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is open up a Reasons session. As you see here, we're going to open up Reasons. And this is what we're going to be using for our setup. Let's bring this down so we can see the full screen, right? So within Reasons, if you're familiar with Reasons, you have the ability to configure the audio. But before we go into configuring the audio, let's go into the preferences and set up. Now, before you get to this step, you want to be sure to have the software installed. We didn't go through that process, but as you can see, you have multiple Pro Tools bridges. Also have different other bridges, which are from Dolby Audio. Then you have the immersive audio bridge. And as you can see, there's also other settings that you could use. And of course, just to show you more details and how you can also customize certain routings. We're not going to go through this process, but you can also, inside of Mac, you could create your own multi-output device without installing Soundflower. I should have mentioned that at first, but I could show you that process. Just let me know in the chat if you would like to know more about how to create your own I/O aux using your core audio. Okay, so now since we have this open, so let's change. Sorry. So now let's change the audio device to the Audio Bridge 16. So right away now we have 16 channels of audio. How do we know we have 16 channels? You can see the active input channels, 16 out of 16. And we have the inputs, and then we have the active outputs of 6 of 16. If we want to add additional channels, we can. So let's bring them all to 16. So now we have all 16 channels. Now let's open up Ableton. So now within Ableton, similar process where we go into the settings, we go to the menu, and we're going to change the input in this case to the audio bridge. Now keep in mind here, when we use the audio bridge, it's just giving us access to virtual cables. So it's just virtual audio IOs to a patch bay. That's virtual. However, if you were to go back to, this is a side note, This is another aside. If we were to go back to the control panel and go down to the bridge, which in the 16, where is it at? 2N, here it is, 16. And okay, so you can't do it on this one, right? But if you were to go to create like an aggregate, as you can see here, the Pro Tools IO aggregate, you can assign the channels where the audio goes. So like if you want it to go into your audio fuse, in this case I have the audio fuse, or if you want the audio to output into a computer, you could do that. You could change the input. As you can see, I can have the phone as the input, and all of these channels will be associated with the bridge channels. In this case, it will be one of the aggregate bridges. But again, if you want more information about that, I'll create a video dedicated for that purpose. So let's go back to our plan here, which is to set up the bridge within. We're going to set up the bridge, and we're going to set up the Ableton Link, because they work hand in hand, similar to Rewire. So okay, so now that we have the bridge set up, so we have the output from Reasons going into the input of Ableton. So now within Ableton, before we get started with routing audio, let's set up the link. So let's click on the link, right? And then inside of Reasons, we'll do the same. Change this internal to Ableton Link. And right away, we can see that one is linked. Let me see here. So now, since we have the channels, let's change the input of a few audio channels so we can get some audio. So let's change this input here to 3 and 4. Change this one to 5 and 6. As you can see, all of those channels show up. So let's quickly go into Reasons and just drag in some loops so we could just give you an example, and you know, you could build from there. So let's find a sample. As you can see right now, it's playing on channel 1. So let's put the master out on channel 3. Matter of fact, let's do this. Let's create some mixer channels. So create one, and let's duplicate that one. So now we have 2 mixer channels, and let's have the direct out go to 3 and 4 here, and 5 and 6. So now let's grab one of these audios here and press play to run it. Let's run it through 3 and 4. And you can see the channels jumping now. Put the in. So it's automatically running because we got it through the Dr. Rex player. So let's just stop it here and just press play. And it's going, it's playing. Now, there's a few things that I have to mention because it is kind of, I couldn't figure this out. Whereas the tempos are not synced directly. So let's turn it down. See, it's 94 here, it's 111 there. But as you see, we do have audio. So let's grab another loop. Maybe some keys. Stop it. We're having some glitches. just a little bit. But let's see, these are kick drums. I don't see instrument. Let's see, let's go to, these are just drums, and then you go into the factory sounds, and that is my timer. So, and then we go into instrument loops, and let's grab a guitar and do one of these riffs totally at random, and let's press play. So we have gone through 5 and 6. So now all you have to do is do one of the features of Ableton. We can record each of the channels, so you have to hold control on it. Command, click, then highlight this, highlight that. Wait, it's playing already. That's not good. So stop it. Delete. Hit record. Hit record. It's counting in already, so wonder why it's doing that. But let's delete this. Let's get some of the loops. So now we have brought in a couple of loops, as you can see here. Still recording. Okay, now it stopped. So now we have both of the loops, and if we play it back here, you're not going to hear anything, right? Until you set it to auto. Seems like there's little slowdowns here and there, but that is how you're able to connect the two. There's some imperfections with the delay timing. It may be mostly because it is an Aux I for Pro Tools. So similar to doing it with these two programs, you can also do this with Pro Tools and assign each channel to the track of preference. All right. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe to our page.